Cats are great.
So says the captain. The cats are great, and I'm not saying that because mine's staring at me right now. It's not at all what's happening.
Cat Nevette has a laser pointer aimed at her right now. Like, yeah, you keep saying cats are good. Otherwise.
This is like last night when Tyler was trying to talk to you, and then...
Nope. Nope. If you're gonna come up here, don't play music at us. Try that again without all the background noise.
It's like last night when Tyler was trying to tell you he liked your puppet, yourself, and he got all shy, and then Heretical thought I kidnapped him.
That was hilarious. What puppet?
I don't know. It was a mistake. I didn't say that. I didn't say those words. I don't know why you're saying puppet, because I didn't say puppet.
This is me succumbing to TikTok's demand that I have a visual subject moving on camera. Forced to face reveal.
This is what they call malicious compliance, right?
Something like that.
It is malicious compliance, but it was also a really good excuse for Thrayle to get to do all kinds of arts and crafts that he had a great time with.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that what you keep looking at?
Yeah, the curtain. It's like... There.
I think it's time for a interlude.
An interlude? There's so many new interludes. I had to...
I know, there's this one about cats.
Oh, the cat in the bat. Yeah.
Have you heard it? It's so good.
I heard a piece of it, so I know the style, and I did not listen to all of it.
It's so good.
But thank you, Shell, for the panther paw. And did I miss a gift goal? Because I didn't. But thank you guys so much for tapping the screen 22,000 times and sharing the live 45 times. That's awesome. Appreciate all those taps and all those shares. And if you haven't already, hit the bent little arrow in the bottom right corner of your screen. You can do that and repost or add to story or even just send it to a few friends. Maybe even just copy that link.
It's not really all that great. You guys could do better.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but I did. What's going on, Blake?
I just wanted to be a swamp cat for the cat song.
I love looking at the screen and seeing Thrayle just very blank face during that joke.
Thrayle doesn't think we're that funny a lot of the time, no matter how funny we think we are. That's actually not true.
I've heard
he
Thrayle.
has like a little... So here's the thing. Here's the secret. He has like this little slightly bar thing that like allows him to mute without actually like having Thrayle muted. So like you never know when he's laughing, because it appears that he's silent, but he's definitely laughing.
I mean, clearly our fun work is sustaining Thrayle's life after death. So it's got to have something going on.
Don't shake your head at us.
Okay, fine. We'll stop making jokes and then you'll fall back apart and then have to go back into the tomb, and then we'll see how you like it.
No, Blake, no, fuck that. We're just gonna make him into some diatomaceous earth. I told you what the plan was.
Well, if you believe in some kind of afterlife or a use for yourself therein, then go ahead and request up. We're not here to debate you. We're not here to burgle your gods or demolish your heaven. We just want to know if you can question your beliefs. And if you can, well then, what is it you believe and why do you believe it? But in the meantime, keep tapping that screen, share the live, and, all of those things.
Cat in a vat, kicking at the side. Says this glass half empty, wasn't asked if it could be. She lists every flaw in the cracks of the walls. Turns a yes into a maybe, then a maybe into prove it to me. Cat in a vat, what a drag, what a fact. She asks not what it is, only what it's not. What it's not. Every answer that you give, she's already forgot, but she can question you to pieces on the spot. Yeah, cat in a vat, yeah. She's all that I've got. This perpetual complaint that I can't shut off. She'll roll her eyes and pick your whole life apart. Cat in a vat. Cat in a vat heart. She says, define that, then define what it ain't. Scribble circles in the margins till your patience fades. Every fine, whatever, is a loaded trap. She'll say, sure, I guess. Then file 100 doubts in her head. Cat in a vat, what a drag, what a fact. She asks not what it is, only what it's not. What it's not. Every answer that you give, she's already forgot, but she can question you to pieces on the spot. Yeah, cat in a vat, yeah. She's all that I got. This perpetual complaint that I can't shut off. She'll roll her eyes and pick your whole life apart. Cat in a vat. Cat in a vat heart. You call it overthinking, she calls it being awake. You call it always whining, she calls it spotting every fake. She doesn't need a reason to put you on the stand. She just tilts her head and you confess more than you planned. Cat in a bag, what a drag, what a fact. She asks not what it is, only what it's not. What it's not. Every answer that you give, she's already forgot, but she can question you to pieces on the spot. Yeah, cat in a bag, yeah. She's all that I've got. This perpetual complaint that I can't shut off. She'll roll her eyes and pick your whole life apart. Cat in a vat. Cat in a vat heart.
W heretical.
Hell yeah. I don't think we have another guest in queue, but if we do, if we get one, I hope that they don't fit this description.
Can you hear? Are you there?
Oh.
In the light where the voices gather, where each word is meant to be known, there is one we cannot follow, one who stands and stands alone. A name appears, a place is opened, a space is held within the line, but something lingers just beyond us, a voice that never crosses time. I feel them there within the silence, not absent, no, but out of reach. A presence caught between the moments, with something still they meant to speak. Just beyond, just unseen, in the space in between. The phantom of the Batcolyte is here. The voice we wait for, never clear, call to the light to join the ride, yet held beyond the Batcolyte. We remain, we do not turn, for every voice deserves return. No fault, no failing, no forsaking, no judgment in the quiet air, only the weight of something waiting, and all of us still standing there. We speak their name into the silence, we leave the space where they should be, as if the sound might find its pathway and bring them back to what we see. Almost here, almost near, like a breath we could hear. The phantom of the Batcolyte draws near, a fragile sound we almost hear. Between the dark and offered light, they linger just beyond our sight. We hold the place, we keep the flame, we do not close upon their name. You are called, you are still called. The space remains until you arrive. The phantom of the Batcolyte remains, unbroken by these silent chains. And if the veil should ever lift, their voice will be the waiting gift. We will hear, we will know, the moment they are able to show. We are here, waiting for you. We are here, waiting for you.
All right, well, when Morgan shows up later, y'all better tell her how much you love that one, because she was so excited about it.
That was fucking awesome. Epic.
It's so while you were reading the poem, like this morning, Morgan and I were sitting in Discord, and she was like, we were like actively having a conversation, and then she's like, oh, no, we have to stop everything right now and listen to this, because I just made this Phantom of the Opera song, and I was like, okay. And so we we literally stopped everything we were talking about and listened to Phantom of the Opera song, and so she was so excited about it.
Who'd have thought the guests that never arrive to the panel are the ones that get the most epic song?
The irony is grand.
But now we just need somebody with one of those believable
Beliefs?
things. Beliefs, yes, to see if they can. What's that thing we do?
Question?
Yeah, question their beliefs. If they can question their beliefs, they should.
Request up?
Yes. If you can question your beliefs in a god or gods or well, anything like
And
that, then go ahead and request on up.
Thrayle said believable beliefs, but really they don't even have to be that. Like, they just have to be beliefs. Believable is definitely not a qualifier that is necessary. Probe deeper into your ideologies. That's what we're doing.
That saying that paired with Quantum's comment just a moment ago. But yes, question your beliefs and shit.
Let me ask you all the questions. It'll be fun, I promise. Right, Alex?
I'd agree. Kat does some of the best questions ever.
That's wild. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Lava. Speaking of lava, ooh, lava check.
Yeah, do a lava check, but also, hi Lava, good to see you.
You know, Thrayle, one of the belief systems that I hardly get to encounter anymore, and I really love talking to people about, is when they have their belief system based in like animal spirits or totems or what have you. It's such a rare belief that people hear someone pop up and they're like, yeah, I believe in, the mother wolf or brother fox or whatever. The eagle spirit. I'm always like, oh, what a fascinating like belief system that I don't understand, but I would love to ask more questions about, because it really is one of those that you rarely ever hear about. I don't know about you. I don't know if you hear it often up here.
Not worded that way, no. I don't usually get a lot of totem-like animal spirits. I have spoken to a lot of animists, and they will put spirit to nearly anything, depending upon their practice. But not specifically like in that sort of
Every so often, we'll get like somebody who belongs to a Native American tribe, or like the indigenous people of Alaska sometimes, right? They have a lot of those kind of, but not very much, no. And there's a lot of Christianity in those. I think we see a lot like of some kind of mix of both of those things, right?
that is the disappointing part of that, is that we do often see a lot of Christianity mixed in, a lot of it It's Great Spirit, and Great Spirit is Jesus.
It's like mixing Mormonism in with Polynesian belief systems. Also a thing.
Also interviewed one of those.
Very strange.
Yeah, anytime we have LDS or a specific LDS, for the longest time, we had this one guy, super respectful, super positive guy, and he was loved by many of the communities, the atheist communities that he would pop up in, and he became our resource for a while for LDS matters. But at one point, I just asked him, I'm like, isn't this just polytheism dressed up as monotheism? Like, it just feels that way. And he's like, you're not entirely wrong.
I really like hanging out in the like LDS or the like XMO or like there's somewhere in between spaces. Like I like the LDS people. It's genetic though. I'm a direct descendant of Brigham Young, so it's my destiny.
What is destiny?
I'm not really sure. I think that in that context, it would be like a thing that was meant to happen, and I don't know why it was meant to happen or meant by who, because I don't think there is a who. But you know, it's more of a colloquial thing than anything. I know I answered the questions you were gonna ask after that too. I like how Thrayle dances when he's really feeling the music.
Honestly, there's a piece of me that thinks that Thrayle finds music cathartic to such a way, in the same way that religious people find religion.
You know, Thrayle's a musician, right?
I did not actually know that. That makes a lot more sense now.
Like a professional musician. Is that question the questionnaire? Is that what that says? It's hard with the skeleton. There we go.
This is my
Ooh.
second time ever seeing Question the Questioner pop up.
Have at it.
Ooh. You brought this up at one point. And this was, I don't know, a few months ago. When you speak, I try to listen intently. You said that you have a partner, Thrayle. Now, are they also non-religious, or are they religious? And does that cause strife, trying to balance it?
They have, I would say they are non-religious, yes. They've been in a questioning of their own for a while. And so, yeah, I don't want to... I've kind of teased her from time to time about coming on the panel, and discovered through that she's on her own journey that I'm now very intently both paying attention to and giving her as much space as I can, because she knows what I do and obviously approves of it. But yeah, I don't think that there's a religious belief there.
Now, do you find it difficult, because you observe and you question here so often, do you find it difficult to transition between, I'm going to call this work for what it is, right? Do you find it hard to transition between the work mindset of questioning these things and then at the home portion, which is actively seeing your partner kind of question in their own way? Like, do you have a hard time flipping off that switch of constantly wanting to ask questions and constantly trying to inquire into it?
I don't know that it's a hard time doing it. I recognize that I have a want to question her, but I don't. It doesn't let me that I can't. Instead, it inspires me to see her and hear about her progress.
Now, Thrayle, before you came to the point that you're currently at in your journey, how much questioning did you do to yourself, or did you have someone who was able to proxy what you do for you, helping you question, like a teacher, mentor, that kind of thing?
I mean, for the first decades, or decade at least, I just questioned myself. I had people I could question who had their own belief systems that were alternate of my own. And there were some, I was fortunate enough to have some religious in their own right, but open to actions that didn't end in me agreeing with them. And along with that, and my own questioning, I think, you know, atheist YouTube community and watching from the shadows and taking those questions to heart, starting to learn and understand through that, and then, hearing the references, doing the reading, questioning that.
Now, a question you asked me earlier, which I love this question. I want to ask it to, people more often. Which religion did you find most inspiring, regardless if you were raised around it or not?
Well, I was raised around the Baha'i faith, and I think that makes a big impact on how I approach people. I think, I don't know, it's the least harmful. I can find more harms in it than some others. I don't know what the least harmful is. I don't know that I have an answer to that question.
Do you think that for people who are spiritual, do you think that spirituality can lead to personal growth or personal revelations that they might not have had if they weren't spiritual?
And again, I hate to sound like I'm copping out, but I don't know. I don't know that there's all of those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. One of my he's slowly becoming a teacher. One of my good friends, Cedar, resident Buddhist. Most people know him. I've been talking with him a lot lately, personal messages as well as like DMs and what have you, about Buddhism and kind of the role that Buddhism plays passively. In a perfect world, do you think that religions would work better if they were more passive than if they were more active?
I think the answer's in the question. If it's, it's going to depend on what a perfect world is. In my perfect world, I don't know that I have an ideal. Just seeing this world, I think it would be best, arguably, for religion to be more passive.
That's a good point. I really did not pinpoint that question enough by saying in a perfect world, because it's going to be a highly subjective concept of a perfect world. That's a good point. In your idealized version of a world, would you want to see religion flourish as it currently is, or would you like to see it diminished to a degree where it becomes practiced less and less over time?
I like the question, and you're really putting me on the spot. Yeah, I mean, I do think, at least as far as I can see it, I think that there should be a lessening. I don't know that it needs to go away. I just think that the ways in which it influences our society right now are harmful.
I like this idea of like a more passive like practice or like belief. I think that's why Buddhism is one of the reasons that Buddhism would be attractive to me as a religious belief. I thought of it in a way that was a really interesting idea.
Yeah, I've been talking to Cedar more often about it, because while I don't want to say I'm discerning into Buddhism, but I am heavily looking into the philosophy of Buddhism, because it's a religion in concept, but and in its ideology, it's considered a religion because, you know, it strikes the boxes. You know, it's ritualistic. It has practices. It has culture. It has, you know, prayer, what have you, meditation. But it's not a religion that we think of religion. We think of, typically when we think of religion, we think of something a little bit more spiritual, or a little bit more with a focus on a god or gods or what have you. And just learning more about how passive Buddhism is, it's all about the practitioner. It's not about going out. It's not about converting people. You know, it's about, if people want the revelation of self-discovery, they go into Buddhism. And I do like that, because the level or the risk of corruption within a society when you have a very passive religion like that is going to be very low. That isn't to say that there aren't Buddhists out there who haven't started wars or anything, because there have been a couple, right, throughout history. But like the harm reduction, and actively focusing on yourself and trying to really benefit yourself over trying to police your community, I do like those concepts, and I do think there's something there. I just don't know if an ideology has to be a religion in order to gain benefit from it.
Do you know fuck birds. Do you know Jimmy B?
I don't think I do.
Jimmy B is our like resident Batcolyte Buddhist. Cedar is great. Cedar's been up here too, but Jimmy B is very regular. He's a Buddhist, and they're Cedar is Zen Buddhism, right?
He's Vajrayana.
Vajrayana. So Jimmy is
yeah.
Mahayana.
Okay.
just
Yeah.
a little different, you know. And I've heard them talk to each other before. That's also really fun and interesting. But Jimmy is another really interesting, great person to talk to about Buddhism if you're like trying to, you know, look into it. I'll send you his profile
Yeah, definitely.
when I'm not here. Hmm.
Now, Thrayle, when you kind of went through your questioning phase, did you also go through something similar as myself where you started looking into the world religions to see if there was something there that appealed to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I looked into a lot of them. I didn't see anything that really stuck out as appealing except the nature-based sort of pagan practices. And I did kind of consider myself, well, at first, when I left the Baha'i faith, I considered myself Wicca for a very short time. And then after that was how I would describe it. Basically just kind of hippie nature vibes and talking to the moon sometimes.
And during that time period, and I don't know if you still follow those practices today, but do you feel that following a practice like that brought you comfort regardless of whether it was, all true or, super factual or anything? Do you think that first and foremost, did it bring you comfort?
I don't think the practice it gave me comfort at all. I think the talking to myself did. And that's what it really boiled down to, was giving myself room to hear myself.
Why do you think it's so rare for people when they leave religion, they don't seek out psychology, but they instead start looking into other faith-based systems?
Because you're taught that you need this band-aid. And, well, this brand didn't work, so you try another brand. Instead of, going to a doctor or, well, just going to a doctor.
Do you think that if we lived in a society where psychology, going to a psychologist was free, for example, that you would see people leaving different religions and then not picking up another band-aid religion if the resource was already there for people?
I don't know for a fact that we would, but I think it might be more common. I think it would make sense for it to be.
Yeah, something I'm going to look into this week is the countries that have like free medication or like psychology or what have you, like Germany. I'm going to see if there's a correlation between when people leave faith-based systems, if they, are more likely to go to a psychologist or what have you. Also, the rates of how often people are going to go see a psychologist, and then see if there's a correlation between people who are getting, that level of mental direction / help versus how many religious people are in the country. Because I know that there are correlations between like Korea, Japan, China being more atheist or being more non-religious versus places over here like, America or the UK or some part of the UK that doesn't have free healthcare, having a higher religious population. So I do wonder if there could be a correlation between higher religious rates and low health rates, and then higher health rates with low religious rates. I do wonder if there's a correlation there.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I expect there might be some correlation.
Have there ever been times in real life that you've encountered different religions, not necessarily religious people, because I think we could all agree that religious people don't fully represent the religion itself. Have there ever been times that you've encountered religions or denominations, in the case of Christianity, where they do things that are so against your personal ethics or morality that it's hard to empathize or sympathize with them?
Yes. Yeah, it's happened in different religions, not just one.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to detail any of those
No,
specifically.
I wouldn't ask you to.
But yeah, there definitely been some in not just Abrahamic practices, but some rituals outside of that as well, in various pagan practices. I feel like I'm getting closer to detailing things I don't want to. But
No, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, there's definitely been things, red flags.
If there was a listener out there who's actively listening and wondering, how do I empathize with people that I disagree with, either theologically or what have you, what would be your best advice on to how to go about that?
To the best that you can. I think empathy is important. I think the best way to achieve it is to remember that they are, in every way that they can be, like you. It's as much as you are like them. And their brains are susceptible to conditioning and misinformation and trauma and damage as yours. And so, yep.
Kat, do you want to comment? I heard you unmute for a hot second.
I think what Thrayle said is really kind of the core of what it is. Like so for me, I am a lifelong atheist, and part of the reason I participate so much in these discussions, and the reason I took several theology classes in college, and the reason uh, I am fascinated with the idea of belief. But then I also see the harm and and I try to put myself in this place where I have this type of conviction behind something that I don't have any reason to believe. And that is where a lot of the empathy comes from, because I imagine feeling this convicted about something that irrational, and I have felt that before, not about a religious belief, but I have felt very convicted about something that is fairly irrational, and it generally comes from a place it's not it's not a great feeling, or it's not a great like event that led up to that or whatever, and it's easy to empathize. I don't know. I find it easy to empathize in general though, but I think that like you just like I had this job for a while that there's this like horrible like thing that happens on both ends, the client and the provider, or of like a dehumanizing or um, like objectifying or whatever. I treat people like they're people, like they're other human beings. And I feel a lot of that. And that's what comes to it. Just treat them like they're a person, because they are.
Now, Thrayle, because you've gone through the journey that you have, when you talk to people who are spiritual and or religious, do you ever feel that they have an answer to some kind of feeling inside you that they understand or they feel something that you don't because they are spiritual?
I think I'm open to that possibility, but I can't say that there's been a time where I've noted that it seems they were describing something I've not attained.
On the opposite side of that question, do you feel that they're emulating just something that they've been taught from their teachers? They say that they have this feeling, this warmth, this spirituality, whatever the case may be. Do you think that it's also just as possible that they don't have something that we as non-spiritual people have? That they're just emulating a concept or an idea that they've been taught over and over again throughout, going to services?
I think it's most likely exactly that. Something emulated, something conditioned, taught, a behavior and response that's been tried and reinforced.
What's something about religion across all religions that you would like to see more of, and what's something you would like to see less of?
I mean, right off the bat, I'd say more more equality and less exclusion, less othering.
Okay. I actually answer.
Less.
I do want to clarify because it's just been a hot topic that I've had to talk about a lot lately.
When you say less exclusion, how does that factor in with the idea that some practices are closed practices?
What I mean is less exclusion internally, less outcasting, shunning, misogyny.
Within the faith-based practice, not necessarily outsiders, not part of the faith-based system.
Yeah, it does. The idea of closed practice does raise questions with me, but I think that's more going to be individual, practice by practice, where my questions lie.
Okay. Do you think that religion has a place within modern society, or does it seem like an outdated practice at this point?
For the most part, I think it is outdated. I think there are places, again, individually, for some people, maybe that's the way that they have to cope. But I don't know that that's even something that's true.
I relate to most of your answers. Do you think, because I know that Bats asked a similar question, do you think by the end of the time that you're asking questions, whether it's, 5, 10, 50 years from now, do you think that you'll ultimately find the answer to the questions that you're looking for through other people?
No, I think that's very unlikely. Though I'm open to it, I believe it's as possible as anything. But